Today on Here for the Right Reasons, Caitlin Bristow tells us how she really feels about not hosting the Bachelorette.
Of course, I would have loved to be there and support and, be able to offer any kind of advice. And I'm the most emotionally available person there is. So I would have loved to have been there for them.
Plus, we get our first look at the men competing for Gabby and Rachel's heart as their first promo is revealed.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Gabby.
And we're your new Bachelorette.
And Ivan Hall reveals why he got a call from Chris Harrison.
Ivan's not going if Chris Harrison's the host. And that wasn't it at all. If he was there, I would have still showed up. I just would have been like, oh, this is a little weird,
And Jesse Palmer is in paradise as Bachelor Nation's Haley Ferguson ties the knot, and we've got an exclusive look at her big night. We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly senior editor Sarah Heron. Sarah, we are closer to Bachelorettes. We are closer to paradise. I feel like the Bachelor fever is in the air.
Less than a month away until we have the Bachelorettes themselves on screen. We know Paradise is filming. I'm so excited.
Cannot wait. We got a lot of news to get into before we get to all that. A lot of people had a lot to say about Tayshia's breakup and her career path. So Sarah, take it away.
Oh my God. They did a lot to say. This is Joanne, and she is not happy with Tayshia. She said, why did Tayshia want to be the Bachelorette if she wants to pursue her career? Can't believe it. What a waste of time when someone else could have been on the show.
Why can't we have both?
Yeah, I guess the point there would be to try to play devil's advocate would be the point of the show is to want to get married and get engaged. And if, your career was your priority, going on a show where that ends in an engagement. But I think it was less about maybe she thought she was going to find someone who would support her to do both, and not saying that Zach wasn't supportive, because I think he was, but I just think it was the lifestyles that were so different. And her version of career and being supportive was not Zach. So they just, at the end of the day, had different visions of the future.
Right.
So I don't necessarily think she was like, I want to be a star. However, it was her fourth Bachelor show. So she definitely liked fame.
That's very true. Catherine kind of says the same thing. She says she got the fame, but she was treated horribly as the Bachelorette because she got leftovers and she chose career and didn't want to actually have a family and settle down. She misled him.
Ooh.
I don't know. Well, I don't know about that. We have no idea. We don't know what went on behind closed doors, what she told him. I think she just wanted both, and she got the fame and she wanted the career, and maybe she wanted the relationship as well. And, I guess they're just didn't line up.
Yeah, I definitely think it definitely has to come down to her lifestyle and career choices and him wanting to settle down and really move forward and maybe get away from the Bachelor stuff. Mm-hmm. But not that Tayshia should have to do that by any means, but I feel like it was, I don't know. I wonder if she wasn't clear about that from the beginning, or if he decided he didn't like it. There's a lot of ways it could go, because I do think there's something to be said for Tayshia, She likes this life, which is totally fine. It's just, maybe that's not what Zach thought, or that's not what she said. I don't know. I'm scared because I feel like I said something mean, but I don't know. It's fascinating.
We'll never know, because like we said, last week, they haven't talked about their relationship. They haven't talked about the breakup. So we never really know what happened. I'd love to know, but we don't. All right. Well, let's talk about The Bachelorette a little bit more, because we got our first look at the upcoming season. So take a quick peek.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Gabby.
And we're your new Bachelorette.
All right. So based off this little tiny promo, what do we think?
Obviously the meatball enthusiast was the star of my personal recap. I was dying at him. And also the twins.
Yes.
Simply because their jobs were twin and other twin. Right. And I just always appreciate The Bachelor going like that. And it makes me have high hopes about the season, because I like it when we see some silly stuff there. It's innocent enough, and we know that they're not taking itself too seriously. I feel like sometimes with The Bachelorette specifically, they don't play into that much in a lot more recent seasons. And some people don't like that because they want it to be serious. I like a little bit of both. So I like what I'm seeing with these men.
Yes, I like what we're seeing with the men. Yes, we got our promo. We got our first look at the men. So it's kind of all happening. We have a Yahtzee champ in the mix as well. Like you said, we have the twins. We have the meatball enthusiasts. We have a lot of different guys from all over the place. And I think it's going to be a good season. It's going to be really interesting. Before we started filming, I actually saw that Andi Dorfman did an interview with somebody, and she's not happy that there are 2 bachelorettes, which I thought was interesting. She's like, why is it that the girls have to split the time? Why can't the guys ever do it? And I thought she made a good point, because I feel like we'll never probably see 2 bachelors.
I think it's such a good point, and I think that I would love to see 2 bachelors too. We kind of know what's going to happen, but like not really even with this. But it's a weirdly bad look to have done this before. But at the same time, if they're presenting it as almost like that was a mistake, what we did with Caitlin Bristow and Britt, and this is like our redo of they're supporting each other. They're both here. Would it work with 2 guys doing that? I don't know. That would be another dynamic to see. We have to find 2 guys, I guess, that we feel like would also sign up for that. Right. In another sense of it. And I also think it's interesting. These promos have been very gimmicky so far, which again, I just said I liked, but we haven't really gotten to the meat of anything. But I assume they're saving that for like a big trailer reveal. Because think about how many times we saw some of those Clayton promos.
Oh my God, yes.
Over and over again. And it was, in my opinion, lived up to the hype.
I think it went beyond expectation.
Right. I do too. But I'm trying to remember like how early they started showing us that. I feel like it was pretty early in, like over a month before. So around this time. So hopefully we'll get like a trailer with good stuff in it too. Because now, as much as I said I love the gimmicks, it's making me nervous that we haven't seen any real footage yet.
Right. No, you're so right. I think maybe because with Clayton, like we didn't know him at all. So like they had to like kind of hook us in a little bit. I feel like they think like, just having the 2 bachelorettes is going to want to make us tune in, which it will. But I know I need some meat. I need to figure out how this is all going to play out. But,
100%.
like you said, less than a month to go and we'll find out.
Yes. Well, someone who did not find success on the show, but has now found success in real life, Haley Ferguson, one of the twins, the OG twins. These new twins don't even know about Emily and Haley.
Right.
Well, Haley, she got married. She's a bachelorette no more. She married hockey player Ula Pelve.
That sounds right. Yeah,
that might be wrong. I apologize. But her and the hockey player, they wed on June 11th at Resorts World Las Vegas. The twins were from Las Vegas, if you don't remember, from Ben Higgins' season. The newlyweds arranged for an Elvis Presley impersonator to perform for their guests because it's Vegas and you have to, they told us in a quote, while they munched on late night McDonald's. Oh, love that. Lauren Bushnell and Amanda Stanton from Bachelor Nation, who were also obviously in Ben's season, were in attendance. And of course, her twin sister Emily was her maid of honor, which was a no-brainer. Haley told us, "This is the moment we've dreamt about since we were little girls. Having her by my side is such an honor. She has helped me so much that I'm almost sure nothing would have been accomplished without her. I'm very picky to the point where I can't decide on things. And she has been there to bring me down to earth and help me with really tough decisions when it comes to planning."
Photos look beautiful. I mean, it looked like a great wedding. Her sister, Emily, is next.
Yes.
She's also engaged. So I'm sure.
I think to an athlete also.
I think so. And they got engaged like within like a few months of each other. I'm sure they'll probably plan their pregnancies and be pregnant at the same time too. So but good for them. She looked absolutely beautiful.
She did. And I thought it was so interesting that Emily wore white too. Like, obviously that's like kind of a trend. There has been for a while that like bridesmaids or maid of honors also wear white, but as like a twin thing, that's also a twin getting married. I thought that was an interesting move. They both looked beautiful. It's their decision. Obviously I was just like kind of caught off guard when I saw that photo of Emily also in white.
Right. You're like, wait, which one's the bride? I can't.
Yeah. Like just of all times, like these twins look identical. They've done everything their whole life. And I guess that's what they prefer, which good for them. I don't have a twin. I don't even have a sister. So I don't know what that's like, but, I love also seeing Amanda and Lauren there. Obviously Lauren's pregnant. Amanda's getting married in a couple months, I think. So fun stuff for the Ben Higgins girls.
Definitely. All right. Well, Becca Tilley is on. Speaking of, Becca Tilley is on cloud nine after going public with girlfriend Haley Cuoco. She told E! News, I feel really good. It's such a weird thing because we've been together for 4 years and we've been living openly. Everyone who's around us knows, but it just hasn't been on social media. Now they launched, of course, their romance back in May. Via her for the girls' music video, which was, of course, Bachelorette themed, and Becca was in it. Now, she previously referred to Haley on her podcast as the 95P after making comments about being 95% sure she would marry her then unnamed partner. Well, she also told E! News, "We're in a really good place. I feel pretty good about the number being higher than 95. I love it. We've talked about this so many times that like it just seems like she's so happy and like said on cloud nine that I feel like wedding bells will probably be in her future sometime soon.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that 95p thing. I know I remember talking about that when this all came out. And I think that it was a bold thing for Becca to put out there a couple years into her relationship, whether people knew it was or not. And now she's going to be asked about it. And it's a lot of pressure. And I know they're 4 years in, so they're obviously very like solid and settled and clearly happier than ever. But I just like, that's something you're going to have to keep answering to, that 95p number, Yes. So I'm happy they're in a good place.
Totally.
Well, someone else who's in a good place, paradise, if you will. Jesse Palmer is officially in Mexico for Bachelor in Paradise. The host has posted several photos from the set with the latest caption, "Standing at the gates of paradise." Jesse Palmer is taking his job as the new host of The Bachelor quite seriously these days. I feel like from Clayton season, he gave us a lot of social content. He's on the beach. They must have given him some clearance to start posting, and he can't help himself.
He cannot help himself. I'm sure this is so much fun. He looks like the smile on his face. I've never seen him smile so big.
It's almost a little refreshing. I really feel like he's happy to be there.
I do too. It seems like he's having a great time. We love Paradise so much. I just can't wait to see who's actually going to the beach. And, there's always rumors about who's going to be there, who's not. But until we get that cast list, I cannot wait.
I know. Did you see the photo of Lace?
Yes, I did see the photo of Lace. I cannot believe she's back.
That's also, I think, a Ben Higgins girl who was infamously engaged to Grant. They got those matching tattoos. It said Grace for that hot minute. That would be a throw. I love when they bring back the randos and put them on the beach with the newbies and chaos ensues.
I love a good throwback. I mean, do we think that we're going to see a lead like we did with Becca? Do we think that Peter Weber is going to walk down that beach?
Oh my God. I don't know. Part of me is there's no way, just because of him and Dustin on their podcast have been kind of critical of the franchise. But I mean, the show is also not afraid to swallow their pride and would take someone like Peter back because the ratings, the numbers, the press would be worth it for them.
Totally.
So I don't know.
I hope so. I would love I'd love another lead. And,
yes, me too.
I mean, and Becca had success, so we'll see what happens. All right, well, let's get into our Bachelor talk. And I recently caught up with Caitlin Bristow, who opened up about how she is feeling not hosting The Bachelorette and her thoughts on Jesse Palmer taking over hosting duties for Bachelor in Paradise. Take a look.
This whole time I've just been saying who better than to be there than Caitlin, having been in their position, having two Bachelorettes. But I know it's a much different season than mine would have been. We ended up with one Bachelorette. They're having two to navigate the whole time. Of course, I would have loved to be there and support and, be able to offer any kind of advice, and I'm the most emotionally available person there is. I would have loved to have been there for them, but I also think Jesse Palmer is so great, and I really like him as a person and a host, so I know he'll do a great job. But I am sad I won't be there for them.
I am too. I know you said back in March that you were kind of triggered about having two Bachelorettes. What exactly did you mean by that? And do you think it is the wrong decision to do?
Well, triggered is a very overused word. I probably was just being dramatic as I can be. But I think it was more of I felt so compared to another woman in that position. But, I had just come off The Bachelor where you're compared to 30 other women. And so I think I was in that moment just a little bit fragile. And then hearing that they were going to do two Bachelorettes again, I think my brain just went back to that time of being compared and pitted against another woman and having the men decide. And I just didn't want it to be like that for these women now, because the franchise has come so far. So I didn't want them to start going backwards again. And so I'm very curious to see how this plays out, because I really don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I know. I'm curious to see too, because it seems like they're kind of going to be there for each other throughout the whole time and not pitted against one another, which I hope for the. I
hope so too.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. I totally agree. If you were in that position to give them advice pre and post show, obviously they're done filming, what would that have been?
Well, just to not compare themselves to one another, which they're friends. So I'm hoping that they, didn't do that. But I guess just to stay strong in who they are and not let, TV kind of get in the way of that, because, you do have to make a television show. And sometimes that comes with, not being able to stand up for yourself, or being afraid of an edit, or, trying to make good television. So I would say just kind of stay strong in who you are and just never compare yourself to the other one.
Definitely. Thoughts on Jesse Palmer also taking over for Bachelor in Paradise?
Well, I think they were looking for a consistent host throughout the franchise like they used to have with Chris Harrison. So doesn't surprise me, but it was fun for the short time that they had, David Spade come in and kind of poke fun with the show, not at the show, and have the women be there for the other women. And that was really, really fun for all of us. So, but I think they were looking for a more consistent host. So that makes sense.
I agree with her that Bachelor Nation, that they wanted just a consistent host, but I still think that she would have brought something to this season of The Bachelorette, especially being one of two Bachelorettes at that time as well.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we've said it a million times, and now Caitlin's saying it. It is facts are facts. Like, she knows what it's like to not only be the Bachelorette, she knows what it's like to be one of two Bachelorettes, one of the only people who knows what it's like to do that. Again, the season's going to be different. But I think that I don't know. It's the more it's like it happens, I'm upset about it, and I'll be interested to see how it goes. But I also just feel like seeing Jesse Palmer in Paradise is making me kind of into Jesse Palmer.
Totally. I thought he did a great job with After the Final Rose last time. I think I feel like, as more seasons go, he's going to be more and more comfortable and kind of find his own voice. Cause I felt like he was definitely like a carbon copy of Chris Harrison last season. So hopefully maybe he'll kind of change things up a little bit and kind of, find his own footing. Well, we'll see.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, someone knows a thing or two about Paradise and dealing with hosts is Ivan Hall. He made headlines for comments that he would feel uncomfortable if Chris Harrison returned as the host of Bachelor in Paradise amid his controversial defense of Rachel Kirkconnell back with Matt James' season airing. And finally, I had the chance to talk to Ivan about these comments and what he meant by that, and Chris Harrison and how he feels now. So here's Ivan.
Yeah, you were outspoken from what I can remember about the whole Chris Harrison thing, right?
Yeah, I think... Yeah.
We don't have to go too far backwards, but I think you were asked a question and then, you answered it.
Yeah, no,
right?
Yeah. I said something like, I would feel uncomfortable if Chris Harrison was the host, and everybody took it as like, Ivan's not going if Chris Harrison's the host. And that wasn't like it at all. Like, if he was there, I would have still showed up. I just would have been like, oh, this is a little weird,
That's uncomfortable doesn't mean I'm not going. That's true. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. And since then it's all good. Like, Chris gave me a call, people make mistakes and it's all good. And we had a good conversation. So I appreciated that from him. And yeah, it was just a very interesting, weird dynamic in Bachelor Nation at that time. So
it really was. It really was.
Interesting that Chris Harrison gave him a call.
Who else did Chris Harrison call during that period of time is what I want to know.
Yeah. Well, Chris Harrison's got to be getting married soon as well. So I wonder, I don't know what's going to happen.
I think there's going to be Bachelor people there because I know that Jordan and JoJo invited Chris and Lauren, but they couldn't go.
Okay. And I know he's really close with Ben Higgins as well.
Yeah, they were just golfing together.
Yeah. So I'm sure he'll be there. We'll have to wait and see. Yes. All right. Well, let's check into our Bachelor social spotlight who are caught our attention this week. Mine went to Ari and Lauren because their twins turned 1. So congratulations to them for surviving what I'm sure was a very, very tough year. And they had like this big circus themed birthday party and the kids look adorable. So good for them.
Those are really cute kids. Yeah, it's hard to deny that, whether you ship Ari and Lauren or not. Those are cute kids.
Really are. How about you?
Mine goes to Gabby and Rachel, our Bachelorettes, to come full circle. They were at CMA Fest over the weekend in Nashville, and they were just like being so cute, popping around Nashville. But this video of them watching their Bachelorette promo air on stage and like yelling the line, like, for a husband. Like, there's such a part of me that's like, this is so corny. Another part of me is like, yeah, girl, get that husband. Mean Girls references. Like, let's be basic and embrace it. So I thought the video was cute.
It was adorable. And like you said, less than a month ago, we're ready. We are so ready. Yes. Sarah, who's on the podcast this week?
Okay. I am about to embark on a Bachelor podcast junket journey. I'm going to be spending some time with Becca, with Joe and Natasha and Tia, and with Brian and Mike. So the hosts of the official Bachelor podcast, they're going to have to talk to this unofficial Bachelor podcast. And I'm excited because there's a lot going on for all those people.
It's a lot to talk about. And I know that you're going to do a great job talking to them all, and we can't wait to hear it. Thanks. All right. Well, everybody keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we will see you guys next week for much more Bachelor news. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, everyone. I'm Christina Garibaldi, the host of Us Weekly Celebrity Coverage. Don't forget to hit subscribe for the latest celebrity news, tips, and video. And for much more content, make sure you head on over to usmagazine.com, the official home of Us Weekly Magazine.